Thank you for listening. Built Different is sponsored by Frame of Reference, the series that dives into the vulnerable, messy, and deeply human lives of a close-knit group of friends. It explores how fear, past mistakes, and unresolved trauma shape the way we see the world today. Stream season 1 of Frame of Reference on the Roku channel, Tubi TV, Prime Video, Fawsome TV, and YouTube Movies and TV. So
Who bring the pack of hot dogs?
Who bringing bread?
A soda. You know, you got that one cousin that only brought pop.
Who bringing that Dr. Thunder? I gotta send y'all this Ricky Smiley.
Mountain Lightning. Shout out to Sam's.
Yes.
Yo.
Because Sam's was trying to get you close.
Yes,
Hey. Open that cooler.
Sam said, we're going to get you just under that Dr. Pepper. We're going to get you Dr. Thunder. Keep that's hilarious.
No, I saw a Ricky Smiley clip. He was talking about white people Thanksgiving and black people Thanksgiving. And this was this past Thanksgiving. And he said Dr. Thunder. And it took me back.
Oh,
I was
Jesus.
like, yo. Because my dad, after a certain point, was just like, y'all stop bringing that. Like, we, you know what?
We could add that extra 50 cents.
We can. Matter of fact, I'll bring the Coca-Cola.
Oh my God! And then you knew it was a good barbecue when you saw Dr. Pepper and Pepsi.
Ooh,
You was
y'all got
like,
money.
yes.
Okay.
Somebody got paid. Oh my God! And then you knew people went back talking about you, like, who brought that Dr. Thunder?
And then you look in the cooler, and it's only Dr. Thunder. Is Dr. Thunder left and Diet RC Cola?
They said most taste tests and loyal fans still prefer the unique, spicier, and more complex flavors of the original Dr. Pepper. You think?
23. They don't like that Dr. Thunder?
No, I went to the Dr. Pepper plant. My sister loved Dr. Pepper. Baby.
I grew up on Dr. Pepper.
I grew up on Mountain Dews. I never did no Mountain Lightning, though. That way.
Welcome to Built Different. I'm Keith Benn. Hopefully that didn't turn off some of y'all, but it's cool, you know. I just want y'all to feel at home. This is a safe space for my hoteps, for my people who renounce it. This is our space. This is where we can say whatever we want. We get the jokes. We understand the references. We don't have to explain ourselves, you know. But I do want to touch on something because I know we talk about unity and culture and you know and my producers and I we love music, especially R&B. But some people get on me, and I'm gonna just say it. You know, I have a thing for Blue Eyed Soul. You know, I don't know what it is, and I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, it is my favorite brand of R&B. No, I'm not saying that, but I just love a good Blue Eyed Soul, like, you know, average white band, A Love of Your Own. Like, I could, you know, pick up the pieces, you know. I love it. You know, Bee Gees, and, you know, we can go newer, you know, more recent, John B. We can do all that. I love Blue Eyed Soul, you know, Adele. That girl can sing. It was just, you know, Tina Marie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a question. Is Mariah Carey black?
She's biracial.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered.
Her father is African American, and her mother, I believe, is Caucasian.
Okay, I'm gonna trust y'all because I always, you know, I still have trust issues because I really thought that Omarion and Marcus Houston were brothers, and someone told me recently that they weren't. I see it, and that's how I felt. Apparently, that was just a lie that was sold to us, like a lot of. But you know what? Bring it down. Okay, I was bamboozled. Okay, so safe space to this day, even on my deathbed, when hopefully, you know, I live a long, healthy, prosperous life, my last words will probably be, "Are you sure Marcus Houston and Omarion weren't brothers?" But you know, again, I digress. We talk about safe spaces, and in this safe space, this is community. This is the cookout, and I really want to ask, who's bringing the paper plates? Not just the hot dogs and the hamburgers and and the sodas, the Coca-Cola and the Dr. Thunder, but who's bringing the paper plates? But more so, should we invite outsiders to the cookout? So again, let's not worry about who's bringing what, but who's bringing who. And is it okay to bring in people who are not of the diaspora to the cookout, to our safe spaces, to the community? Should we gatekeep more? Again, I talk about Blue Eyed Soul, and I talk about people who do it well. And we might play those songs, and we know those songs, but are we too inclusive? Okay. And there's this I want to recognize this famous Black woman who's done a lot for the culture. She's done a lot. Her name is, and I may be pronouncing it wrong, her name is Nkechi Diallo. And she's done a lot. But more so, you may recognize her by her birth name, by the name that her daddy called her, Rachel Dolezal. Now, I see my producers is two Black women, so I know they're probably going to cancel the show. So anyway, before they cut off my mic, I really
her name. Wait, let me go back,
please,
because I had to. What is it? Was that her real name? Her first name that she took on?
Okay, so let's step back. So the woman, her name is Rachel Dolezal, and for those who don't remember, Rachel Dolezal was someone we would probably consider a fair-skinned Black woman, or so we thought. She was doing a lot of work. If you go to her Wikipedia page, she was an activist. I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she was part of a NAACP chapter, or maybe multiple. And then turns out, that Mariah Carey question I asked you,
Mm-hmm.
turns out this woman actually was a white woman. Like capital WH, white woman. Like Hellman's, Mayo, white. Like, who's bringing the paper plates? Like, who brought the paper plate that is Rachel Dolezal? She is a true white woman. I believe she was from Maine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she was from she was the definition, but yet, she when you talk about playing the part, when you talk about Lifetime,
Montana. She was born in Montana.
Montana.
Right.
I got some cousins in Montana. No, I don't. But anyway, I guess she goes by, or she once went by Nkechi.
Correct.
Amara.
Nkechi Amara
Diallo.
Diablo.
Yes, and I believe that's
Diallo.
Is that, now correct me if I'm wrong, does that mean gift of God? I think I read somewhere. But it's and a funny thing I also read, and please, my producers are really sitting there like he really got me looking up this white woman. But
yeah.
But also there's one more thing I want you to look up, because I believe now she did the blackest thing that I heard she did. And I read it, and I want you to confirm it. She said she was going to continue going by Rachel Dolezal instead, because it was going to open her up to more opportunities.
Mm.
So, with all that being said, is there a fine line between tribute and influence and appropriation? And I ask that it's easy to look at art, to look at music. We have Bruno Mars. It seems like, every album Bruno Mars decides to, focus on another genre of music. Him and Anderson .Paak, with Silk Sonic, great duo. Bruno has always made great music, and I'm under the impression that he is just a fan of the culture, and he is giving tribute with the music, and he's talented. He's very talented. I enjoy his music. I see one of my producers, and she's doing that thing where she has a lot to say.
Rachel
Nkechi, okay,
or Rachel,
like from Friends, okay.
Yeah, she went to Howard.
I don't think that's right.
You don't think that's true?
I don't.
And that they're saying now,
Okay.
again, this is just some quick research
Okay.
to the audience, so forgive us if we have to switch this up, but
Okay.
it's claiming, and you can change anything on Wikipedia.
True.
I don't have her school records, but it's claiming that she has an MFA from Howard University.
It's cool.
And that she also sued Howard University. So I'm wondering if she went to Howard and that was her version of the Cookout.
Ooh. Well, first off, as a product and legacy product of the illustrious Howard University, founded in 1867.
Well,
you know what? It's cool because it also brings up another point of allyship. Because Rachel Dolezal was not someone who was just black to get into the club. She was not somebody who was just black just so she could say the N-word a few times. You know, she actually, she put in some work. So I'm willing to allow that. We'll allow that for now.
we'll allow
the Howard part is probably true, but
But what about her suing them because of, I think she was kept out of spaces because she was white, and I think that's what sparked her to go do her African studies and then go deep down the rabbit hole, like I identify as black.
And so again, as the Howardite, maybe you can thank us for, pushing her in that direction. That is her hero origin story. And so, she also has an OnlyFans, but we're not going to touch on that.
No, she does.
She has an OnlyFans.
Wow.
I don't know if it's still active, but, Anyway, so, but again, tribute and influence and then appropriation. Where is that fine line? Tina Marie. Now, in my eyes, I think I don't know what her, I got another.
Yes, Tina's special to me.
Okay.
I always felt like Tina, it was something that she respected deeply about our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And when she came to it from a place of, I'm learning, and I didn't feel like she was appropriating. I felt like she was complimenting.
Yes.
Like, y'all have this soul. I'm attracted to the soul of y'all's music, and I want to encompass it and embody it. And she did.
She did very well.
I never looked at Miss Tina Marie as she could come to the Cookout, but I think it's because she led with so much respect for the way we created, how we came up with it. I never felt like she was a culture vulture.
Everybody thinks they've got life all figured out. But are you sure about that? Join Mario and Chris as they break down the assumptions, the myths, and the surface level narratives that shape how we see ourselves and each other. Subscribe to Are You Sure About That? And rethink what you thought you knew. Listen to Are You Sure About That? Anywhere you get your podcasts. There we go. So in terms of the for culture, for people who haven't heard that, culture vulture, I haven't heard that in a while. But yes, in terms of appropriating, in terms of, seeing something that they like in the culture and just hopping on it and just trying to turn it into their own. And so I think black people, in the collective, generally agree that Tina was respectfully part of the culture. Now, I do need my producer's help with this. Did she have any black in her?
Who, Tina Marie?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. She would be what I call the true definition of blue-eyed soul.
Blue-eyed soul.
She did not Rachel Dazzle it. She didn't perm her hair and darken her skin.
Yes.
And started saying, "Hey, I'm Tina Marie. I'm black." Tina Marie to me just was like, this is who I am. I was born, and
She was from Santa Monica, California.
I like good music, and I can make good music, and I can sing, and and the culture just kind of influenced her in. Rachel seems to me that she's the person that we need to be very aware of if someone is trying to bring her to the Cookout.
So now, with that being said, and again, going to that allyship, because she did, she was a part of these, the NAACP, and I want to confirm that.
Yeah, she was. She had to step down from it, but yeah.
So with that, and and I'm gonna come back to that because What you did mention is this kind of would you say deception? Especially with someone who is darkening their skin and manipulating their hair and their physical appearance to.
So you got to be real careful with this, though, Keith.
Okay.
Because there was something about the Black culture that she identified with.
Tina Marie or Rachel Dolezal?
No, Rachel.
Yes.
That for you to, because she wanted the aesthetics to be seen with hair choice. She wanted the aesthetics to be seen with skin tone, and some would argue that she has. I think they even coined her as,
transracial.
Transracial,
but it wasn't. So let me say this. Just looking at this, and I'm so glad you brought this up. You need to be wary of Rachel Dolezal's. And whatever her male counterpart would be.
Yes.
Because to me, it's like she was in a space where normally African Americans were in, and she was like, she was the reverse of, in my personal opinion, people that were born male that transitioned to female being in women's sports. Women have limited sports opportunities, biological women already.
Yes.
So when you enter the space, like, oh, I'm going to be here, you're taking up a position. To me, that's Rachel Dolezal. If she's like, I'm this white woman and I'm going to infiltrate this Black space and I'm going to get this job acting like, or if she said she identified as a Black woman to get a role at a university and was passing for Black. And then she had to finally admit that both her parents were white.
Yes.
So there were, we're not living in this day and age now, but there was a time where there were a lot of programs that were catered to the disenfranchised, foundational Black American that was like, hey, we're going to give a scholarship so you can get ahead, because systemically we've been left behind.
Correct.
But if we are now saying that area, that space can be taken up by anybody who identifies as that's one less position for
someone who's truly
correct, who cannot go back to Rachel Dolezal from what's her African name?
Nkeche.
So she because if I walked in to a white woman's club and I was like, hey, I identify as a white woman now because I want to get ahead, like say all these white women are getting board seats or whatever.
Correct. So to that point, and
she don't need to come to Cookout.
So she don't need to come to Cookout.
No,
okay,
no, because I don't know her genuineness. Now, Tina Marie just said, "I'm Tina. I'm from Santa Monica, California. I love funky music. Can I sing with you? Not can I act like I'm a Black woman?" And I take offense to it because I am a Black woman.
So you would probably eat a dish that Tina, God rest her soul, probably made.
No, Tina, I'm not going to eat Tina's dish either. But I am going to listen to her music.
Okay.
She can perform.
She can perform?
She could, if she want to perform.
I could see y'all let Tina sing her next song.
But can I say this?
She coming up.
Can she be a space partner real quick? Can she be a space partner?
Maybe.
I don't know, because I got to see how she play on somebody else's team. I'm very competitive with space.
Okay.
But our spaces are that space should be so sacred.
Yes.
But there is no other community that I feel like is diluted more than the Black American community. So we let everybody in. So
to that point, and I said deception, and the word infiltration came up, and we talk about safe spaces, and I really, just we talk about the sanctity of the space. The revolution will not be televised. But yet we have moles in the space, so we don't even need to really televise the revolution, because they got people already in that maybe we shouldn't be trusting as much. So with that being said, we talk about these spaces in the literal cookouts, the family reunions, the just any space that we are comfortable where we can take off the bonnets and the do-rags and let our hair hang, and it's, where we voice our frustrations, where we fellowship, where we rejoice. But yet, Black people, we are known, and some people say to our detriment, to be too inclusive. And, devil's advocate, not talking about bringing in, the infiltrators into the space, but we've also always shown love when hate has been thrown at us.
Mm.
You know, we've always embraced those who have stepped outside of the, or you know, who've come into our communities to welcome us, to welcome our culture, and we've always been welcoming. And it really brings up that question of, are we too welcoming?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, we are, because I think we want to be so seen.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be so humanized. We want to be the opposite of everything they have fed the world about who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we are too inclusive because we're trying to prove, oh, we're not that, and we just as cool as you are, and we like the same things that you like, and we move in the world in similar ways. And then I need to say no, because I felt like we haven't been uplifted, unified, connected enough as a culture, a Black American culture,
Mm-hmm.
in order to let somebody in. So it's almost like I got to build you up first, so you know how to recognize if you're going to let Rachel in or if you're going to let Tina in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I feel like we need to do our own self-love, self-work,
First.
community connected. I'm sorry, I'm getting
All good.
Community connected space. But real quick,
Yeah.
I want to say this because I think this is such a great
absolutely
episode. I got to experience Ryan Coogler's Black Panther in Asia. I was in India.
Ooh, okay.
And it came out, and I was like, oh, I was with some folks that were not Black because I was in India. It was just me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really want to go see this movie. And I was there for like 2 weeks. So I was like, can you please take, I had a driver, and I was like, can you please take me to the movie theater? It was sold out. It was Marvel at that time, where everybody was going to the cinema. And I went in there and I watched Michael B. Jordan. Beautiful performance. Ryan Coogler directed marvelously.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Chadwick.
Rest in peace, Chadwick. Wakanda forever. Even if it is fictional, Wakanda forever. And I was having this emotional moment, a cultural moment, that I was begging to have that moment with my people. Because when the movie ended, I was the only one in the theater that I just sat there and I cried. If you go back and for those who haven't seen it, please watch it. But there's this beautiful moment where Killmonger is, taken out, and T'Challa doesn't leave him. They have this moment, and he gives this line about bury me in the sea so I can be with my ancestors for when we were brought over to the Americas in the Atlantic slave trade. But that was a moment I wanted with my community. I didn't have that. So when we get accused of not being, you can't say African American. Somebody told me once, you just have to say American because you wasn't born in Africa. Okay, great. Or they try to say we don't have any culture, but yet our culture runs the world. But that community is so sacred and special. I love my time in India because I wasn't there trying to be Indian. I was in there trying to taste the naan. Tell me about this. I went and viewed seen all the technology that they had before the Brits came. I wanted to learn about their culture. I got this beautiful henna tattoo. I learned about the different dialects and all of that. I wasn't trying to cosplay their culture. I was just trying to say, yeah, I would love to know more about you.
All right, let's talk about it. No, seriously, that's exactly what Jordan does on So About That. Whether her conversation is breaking down why nostalgia is a scam, figuring out if we're bad at relationships, or asking why activism has turned into a digital performance. This podcast is where culture, curiosity, and a little bit of side-eye come together. Hosted by Jordan Hora, So About That is for the thinkers, the overanalyzers, and the ones who love a good debate over brunch. They're building community, challenging beliefs, and probably exposing a few contradictions of their own along the way. It's all love, though. Listen to So About That anywhere you get your podcast.
Rachel was going to HU in that sacred campus. I've been there before. I took some students there to see so they could see it. But if she was there just to get resources and opportunities, was it a professor that she wanted to go? to have them teach her? What was your motivation? Or was it that I can excel here because I can just, get all of these things that they're giving out to African Americans? So we have to protect that safe space as much as we possibly can.
So to that point about Black Panther, and it's crazy, just this shared identity that Black people have, because even before the moment you said there's this scene, and I think everybody knew what you were talking about, and that scene was so powerful that the day after I saw Black Panther, I had a coworker who saw it as well, because again, like you said, Marvel was huge, still huge, but Marvel was just wow.
Yeah.
And people were saying, they were like, I don't think Killmonger is a realistic villain. And I had someone non-Black say that to me, a friend of mine, and I said, okay, and I left it at that, because to me, Killmonger in that movie, shout out to Coogler. Because the way
Ryan, we love you.
The way you wrote that, I mean, to me, that was the most justifiable, relatable villain. But again, these safe spaces that we have, these cookouts.
I'm getting teary-eyed right now thinking about it.
These moments, it's hard to have those, like you said, these moments to truly and fully express ourselves to, this outside world. We've been through so much, and it's not to pick on anybody, but it's just to have this sanctity, the sanctity of this space to say, I feel you. I understand. You don't have to dress it up. You don't have to put lipstick on and make it all you make it raw, make it plain. And so, we also talk about the dilution of that, and we see how people take these terms and say, bye, Felicia. And, so you calling me a crackhead? You telling me to get out your way? Or, people use these terms incorrectly because, it's not necessarily something that you can read in a study guide. But with that being said, just to bring it all on home, I do have to apologize, because I know my audience. I know my Black women. And I should have never said Rachel Dolezal.
It's
I knew
okay.
it.
It's okay. I'm a Black woman. I did not know. You just educated me. I had no idea that was her other name.
I didn't either. I did not know that Sister Diallo.
Yes.
But
Diallo.
Let me stop, because there are probably some Black women who would just, but to say that. And now my last question before we bring it on home, is it safe to bring her as a +1 because you want to introduce her to the family?
I think that's the most if I was of another race and I know Black culture, and I was of a different race and I was coming into a Black environment, I believe that is one of the most, it's Black women that go to family barbecues that are standing in the corner, arms folded, because they haven't figured out the vibe, right? But once they're there and they get in, it kind of smooths over.
Yes.
I feel sorry for those women that can't go in that space and be AKA a Tina Marie. Just be themselves.
Just be yourself. And I think that's what we're saying. Just be yourself. You ain't got to be us. I know. Look, I know that, like you said, our culture is the mainstream. Is
Shout out
cool.
to Solange, by the way, because she gave us a seat at the table.
She did.
And that was, I believe, that was her message for us. It was to us, our culture.
For us, by us,
okay,
to us. And so with that being said, again, we mentioned it earlier, I maybe we do need to gatekeep a little bit more, and it's not to, not include anyone. It's not to be mean. It's not to, nan and a boo boo, whatever, it's not to do that, but it's just to say that sometimes, just like when the girls like to hang out and they don't want a guy there because there's only certain things that the women can say, and when the guys, we're hanging out and we don't need a girl there because there's just certain things we need to say and we can be honest with each other, and it's not just about beer and sex and all that, but it's just like, how you feeling, brother? It's okay, it's these safe spaces. And with that, again, if we're not careful, the revolution will not be televised, but it won't have to be, because we'll just have people, thinking that they know how the script goes. And so with that being said, please, please, please forgive me, kings and queens. I maybe I was a little too inclusive. You know, I'm not gonna front. Maybe I need to cool it on the Blue Eyed Soul. You know, I was gonna go back and listen to Justin Timberlake's first album because it was kind of a banger. But you know, maybe I need to chill. You know, maybe I just need to listen to some D'Angelo.
He's clearly not invited.
He's cool. I know.
Not after what he did to Janet. You talking to two black women?
And I'm talking about before that. I always felt like he was cosplaying.
Ooh.
But I know we got to wrap.
We got no. Yeah,
that's another episode.
That's another episode. You know. So you know, cry me a river with that. But anyway, you know, please, if you enjoyed the show, leave us a 5-star review. Please comment, like, share it with somebody. Please. Widen. You know, we have a message. We have a movement, and I think that people could really benefit from this because you might feel like you built different. You know, I know I'm built different. I know you built different, but you might feel like no one's really, you know, don't be ashamed of how you feel. You know, maybe you do think that you want to be more inclusive. Whatever the case is, this is a safe space, and let somebody know this is a safe space you can come to listen. So check us out on Patreon, the Watts Dome. You know, we got additional interviews, special events coming soon, additional content. Check us out on the website at wattsproductions.com/podcast. That's WATZS productions.com/podcast. Share it, like it, do all of that, and just remember, you know, whatever you do, whoever you bring to the cookout, whatever it is, you know, maybe we need to leave that Dr. Thunder behind. So anyway, this is Built Different. I'm Keith Benn. Also, bring more than paper plates because, you know, it's a tough economy. Bring some hot dogs, some hamburgers, something good. I'm out.